Us now as Ayr ambassador and Dublin hurling captain Eoghan O'Donnell. Last month, Ayr was unveiled as a sponsor of the GAA Hurling All-Ireland Senior Championship. The 5-year deal was announced on November 30th, and it further cements the long-standing relationship between Ayr and the GAA, highlighting the synergies that exist between hurling, the world's fastest field sport, and Ayr, which is committed to providing full fibre, super-fast broadband to over 1.9 million homes and businesses across Ireland. Geez, that was some mouthful, but I got through it. Eoghan, how are things?
Good. How are you, lads? Good to be here.
Did you get a chance to see either the hurling matches yesterday?
I watched the highlights. I was a World Cup man yesterday. Unfortunately, it was a pity the time and schedule, but I was treated to an absolute excitement in the World Cup. I thought it was a brilliant game.
Did you were you happy for Messi or were you disgusted for Mbappe?
I was happy for Messi, but I have to admit I'm very much a Ronaldo man, so it did hurt me a little that the debate is probably finished, that Messi has taken the GOAT title. Unfortunately, that it's probably an inarguable case now. I'm leading.
And is that because you're a Man United fan? Is that how you ended up on the Ronaldo
side?
No,
not really. I'm probably a United man because of Ronaldo. I just for years have thought Ronaldo was the man. I thought the way he carries himself and the way he performances and everything like that, he has the X factor and the star quality. So probably feel a little bit let down in recent months the way things have gone. But yesterday was the nail in the coffin for the debate, maybe.
What did you make of the Qatari lads putting the negligee, the little the robe over him? That was, it was fairly uncomfortable.
Yeah, you'd never see it in Croke Park, would you? Like, it's just not in the culture in any shape or form. Just probably because the abuse you get on WhatsApp wouldn't be worth it. You'd have to just take it off straight away.
Can I just ask you on the matches clashing, like the World Cup clashing with, like, you know, the biggest hurling club game in over a decade? Like, we're shooting ourselves in the foot a bit with things like this, are we not? Like, you're a hurling man to the core, but the World Cup is every 4 years, and the chance to see an unbelievable, you know, historic moment yesterday. Like, should we be making people choose in that type of instance?
Yeah, of course we are. Like, I would admit, first of all, that I don't know the scheduling headache that the GAA face. I'm a very fair weather fan when it comes to the logistics of it, but as a neutral, I do know that I was hugely disappointed when you couldn't watch both, because when you saw the draw for Ballyhale and Ballygunner, you're licking your lips and be like, this is like, after the repeat of the final from last year, you were saying this is one of the games of the year. So as an avid hurling fan, I did choose to watch the World Cup, unfortunately, because it's one of probably the biggest sporting occasion in the world. So yeah, like, absolutely, you want to showcase hurling to as many people as you can, and get people into Croke Park. And I'd say Croke Park would have had a couple of more thousand very easily if it wasn't scheduling with the World Cup.
Would you have any interest in playing any other sports over the years other than hurling and football?
I play five-a-side most winters, if that counts. That's just the best crack you can come across. Yeah, me and my friends, we play a five-a-side. It's taken deadly serious, like, want to win at all costs, and it's just it's a brilliant way to stay fit, but you're not doing it for that. But it's just like such a lease of fresh energy and a bit of crack, and it's a different sport. But no, I never really did. Like, I play golf the odd time, but I wouldn't be great. I would have loved to have given Australian rules a good shot. Now, that's what I would have loved to have given a shot over the years, but unfortunately the ship has probably sailed on that one.
Yeah, and did you ever go to a combine or anything like that?
Yeah, I back when I was second year minor, I was asked to the combine, and I was asked to a trial with Carlton, but I broke my leg, unfortunately, and missed both trials. Missed the whole football championship, missed the hurling championship, missed everything. I never got asked back. So what could have been, maybe, but it's a different level over there. So maybe I'm better off sticking with the hurling.
And when
sounds like he's issued a bit of a come get me plea by the sounds of things here.
No, far from it. I think that ship has sailed. Like, you look at the conditioning and running of these lads, I think I'll stick to my fullback and cover my small square and not let anybody in at it.
And when you're playing five-a-side now, would you be a router or would you be trying to step overs?
Oh, step over, striker up front, like no tracking back, like Ronaldo man through and through.
Yeah. So could you talk to us about your year? Because obviously you're hurling away with Dublin, you're the captain, the season doesn't go the way you wanted to, and then you end up with the footballer. So what was it like for you?
Yeah, like first of all, it was extremely unexpected. I know a few people might have been giving me a bit of grief online that it might have been planned and maybe I didn't have my best year, but I can very much assure people that it was completely unexpected. Just hurling finished up a lot sooner than expected, unfortunately, and the opportunity came about, and Desi asked me to join the panel, and to be honest, it wasn't a massively easy decision. I spent a lot of time talking to my girlfriend and my family, and weighed up the pros and cons. That it was an opportunity to go in and learn from arguably one of the best teams that have played the game. But I also was going in at the All-Ireland quarter-final stage, and it would be a huge learning curve. It would be a huge time commitment when I was already busy with work. I was just after getting knocked out of the campaign that I've dedicated my whole life to, or my whole adult life to. So like there was a couple of factors to weigh up, but obviously I went with the decision to try and embrace the challenge and do it. Although I mightn't have finished maybe the way I would have liked, it's not something I regret. It was a really interesting couple of months.
Was there a bedding in period for you? Like when you first went in and maybe you were having training matches and all that, did it take you a while to find your feet? Like I know you obviously play football with Whitehall, and I think one of the guys with Sing Street one day was telling me that you'd possibly scored a hat-trick against them, maybe in full forward. Maybe I don't have that right, but did it take you a while to find your feet?
Yeah, it did. Like, yeah, that Sing Streak, I think grew legs. I don't think it was quite a hat trick. I think I might have got on the score sheet, but I think every time I saw that what I scored had increased dramatically. I'm safe to say that at the time I was fueling the fire, but now I can safely say it wasn't that much. But it was a huge bedding in period. I think football and hurling are completely different sports, and I think I at club, my athleticism and my strength, maybe in fitness, like carried me over the line. Whereas now I was introduced to a very high class performance setup. And not only was I switching code, I was also switching position, that I play full forward with the club, but I wasn't playing full forward with Dublin. I was playing more in the half back line around there. So it was a learning a new position. I haven't played half back since minor when I played football for Dublin. So I was learning the ropes on a new position. And football is a completely different game to hurling. Might sound like an amazingly obvious thing to say, but it's not really when you think about it in terms of where I feel I was getting. I felt my football ability, I felt my athleticism, I felt my communication, my confidence was all very much on par with the guys there. And I felt like anytime I was on the ball, I could add value and I was able to contribute, and I was good at going forward and tackling and all the rest. But really where the differences came was handing off a man, knowing when to dive in. And my philosophy in hurling is massively based on not letting the fellow mark and get the ball at all. Whereas in football, the philosophy on defending is completely different. That's just not possible. And people can get you on loops, people can get you on backdoor cuts, people can get you on all manner of different things. So it's a completely different defending style. And then throw in systems and plays, and the Dublin footballers have been on the road for a fair bit of time. It's fair to say. So they have a lot of calls and play. So learning them was a learning curve as well.
Do you think tactically football is a good bit ahead of hurling?
I'm not going to say ahead. Definitely not ahead. I think it's different, that you can in football get a short kick off, and the ball mightn't reach. Say as a player, we might concede a short kick out and we mightn't be involved in the play for 20-30 seconds. So we have time to set up, we've time to bring a lad back or whatever the system may be. Whereas in hurling, you don't have that luxury, because if you pull players back, it's a short puck out and they can score from the half back line. They can hit a ball 80-90 yards. So I'm not going to say behind. I don't think it's a thing that hurling has to catch up. I think it's a different sport and probably shouldn't be compared as better or worse. It's just completely different.
Michael,
was it a bit daunting on going into all of that, going into like something that's totally it's not alien to you because you're playing club football, but going into a county setup, it sounds like almost a guy getting called into the Irish rugby squad and having to learn calls, and you have to do an awful lot of learning just to even get on par with lads, if you get me.
Yeah, well, like rightly or wrongly, what was daunting for me was I felt, and I discussed this with a couple of my close friends, and they probably disagreed with me, but where I felt what was daunting was I felt I was putting my reputation on the line going onto the football team, that I was joining the team at an All-Ireland quarter-final stage, and I knew it would have been a very difficult thing to break into that team and add value to that team. So I felt like if I don't make this team, sure, like I'm not good enough, or I'll be viewed by the country as not good enough. And I probably was aware it might have been a bit high profile making the swap, but I didn't think it would be as high profile as it was. I was actually shocked at the amount of attention it got, but that was my biggest fear, was that I was putting my reputation on the line slightly, that I obviously would be a big competitor and would fancy myself and would back my abilities. And if I didn't have enough time to break in, I felt slightly embarrassed. And as things turned out, it didn't end the way I wanted, personally and as a team point of view, that I didn't feature against Kerry, which is very disappointed. I felt I probably could have added value on the day. I felt I was going well in training. I felt that I was the type of player maybe that could have added something on the day. And that's no disrespect to Desi Farrell. I think there'd be players beside me on the bench that would feel the exact same thing, and I have a brilliant relationship with Desi. His job is to pick his best things, but like I was very and still am very disappointed with how it turned out, being very honest.
Just on that, it's mad that you feel like that, because you'd very little time to bed into one of the best squads in the country, and you still play championship. You came on in that quarter final in the closing minutes. Like I know what you're saying, and it's probably because you're a high achiever, particularly on the hurling pitch. Like even playing championship for Dublin at any stage last year, having only come in when you did, to me is an achievement in itself. I know that you probably wanted more though.
Yeah. No, I did, and like I appreciate that, and people have said that to me after, but it doesn't make me feel an awful lot better. I wanted to come in and to add value and to play at the highest level, and I've been very honest. Unless I started, and maybe unless I won man the match, I probably still wouldn't have been happy. That I just wanted to. I wanted the storyline finish, which might have been unreasonable. And things went on the day that probably didn't favour me. That just because I play fullback in hurling, I'm not a fullback in football. I've never played fullback in football, and we had like 3 injuries in the fullback line, so that used up subs, and there's a load of different factors on the day that maybe didn't go my way. But I definitely felt I could have added something on the day from my experience in the training matches and how I got on against Cork and things like that. But that's sport, isn't it? You don't. Very few people, except for Messi, as we discussed, gets the fairy tale finish. We don't. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it sure doesn't. So now to come back to the present, it's been all changed with Dublin hurling. Obviously, my old buddy Matty Kenny, he's no longer there. Cian O'Callaghan has gone away for a year. Chris Crummey's gone away for a year. I think Liam Rush is away. So it is all changed. But what's it been like the first period of time with Micheál Donoghue?
It's been huge change. The personnel in the dressing room and the personnel in the management team have all completely changed. So it's a fresh start. I think like it's very evident early on to see how Micheál achieved it, how he's achieved what he has. When the All-Ireland with the club and the county, that his backroom team and his coaching staff are absolutely brilliant, that they demand incredibly high standards in training, and if you don't meet them standards, you're let know very quickly. So as a result, training has been very good. The lads you mentioned stepping away for travelling, they're huge losses. Like of course they are. They're 3 of our biggest players on the pitch and certainly off the pitch. They were brilliant men for driving standards and culture. Other lads have stepped away as well that were brilliant lads to have, that could analyse a game and could say something in a meeting that would be like, Jesus, that's such a clever thing to say and pinpoint. So it's going to take some bedding in for the new guys, but it's an opportunity for other lads to step up. And you'll forgive me if it sounds like a cliche, but it's not. Like there's a whole left by lads there that were leaders on the team, and either people fill them and we progress, or people don't fill them and we don't progress. It's the way it works.
Michael?
Just a quick question away from Dublin on. So you won the Senior B in Dublin. What's the scenario where you don't represent Dublin in, we'll say, the Leinster Intermediate Championship?
Yeah, I didn't understand that really, to be honest. But I have to admit, I would be very much listening to like across the board group structures. I wouldn't be the type of player that would know who plays who or how we advance and what the standards of the group were. Like very much would play the matches in front of me, and I wouldn't be like the logistics guy. So I don't know. Like there was two parts of me I would have loved to have gone further with the club, but it was an extraordinarily long year for me, and maybe selfishly I was like, look, I need a break. We've a new management team coming in with Dublin. Dublin is obviously a huge thing in my life. I wanted to take a week before going back in with them and put my shoulder to it with this, that we've a lot of new players. So like if we went on an extended club run, which would have been brilliant, would have obviously gave that my full attention. It obviously would have maybe left another hole in the Dublin camp, which I'm happy to be a part of.
And another question, like it was brilliant to win that title against Falls, but of course it went to a replay extending your year further again. And also then you had that football match against Nafina on telly, just unbelievably dramatic, and I'm sure that was a painful one to lose as well. So you did have a fairly dramatic year with the club. Yeah,
we did, and kind of we won the B, and I was like, this is brilliant. I really enjoyed it, but I was more happy for people in the club maybe than myself, that I was like, we shouldn't be in this B, that we got relegated last year, and if you look at the starting team from this year to last year, it was just like an accumulation of such unfortunate injuries. I tore my hamstring, Cormac Costello was injured, Lee Gannon was injured, like it was my brother Eoghan O'Donnell was injured. Like it was such an unfortunate year for injuries, and we got relegated. But realistically, we shouldn't have been in the B. So winning it was great, get back up, but we have bigger aspirations than that, which is just my honest opinion. And it was great to win. Now I loved winning. We had great crack in the club after, but it's not something to rest our laurels on.
We were asking Shane Kingston a little earlier about his hobbies away from playing sport. What are yours?
Yeah, that's a good question.
You're going to say Netflix, aren't you?
No, I'm going to say I don't have a massive amount of hobbies outside it, to be honest. I don't have time. Like, I work a relatively busy job. Like, I work till 6 in the evening, and I go to training, and when I finish training, I'm in bed. Like, so I don't really have any hobbies outside. It sounds quite sad, but like, my circle is very small. Like, my social life is based on meeting people for coffee. I do that a lot. Like, I'd meet friends for coffee, and my catch up. That would be the extent of my hobbies, because you just don't have time. I play golf, but I'm like fairly cat at it, so like I feel more around the course. Like, so I don't know. Just being honest, I don't really have a massive amount of hobbies.
Yeah, well, we've taken up plenty of your time, Michael. Have you any final question for?
No, all good. No, I presume I just saw a couple of jerseys in the background. That an All Blacks jersey over your right shoulder, is it?
I'll give you a quick glimpse, and just or this way. Sorry.
We'll put you up full screen there.
I'm there we go. Now we have to get rid of there's a glimpse of it. Now we have to get rid of this is an air event, so we'll keep the air in focus. do my part.
Are the All Blacks a team, like I know you're big into culture and that, like if you're talking about culture, there's probably no greater team or an institution.
They're down to the Dogs, though, aren't they?
Culture.
I thought they're down to the Dogs at the moment.
Yeah.
I've been very privileged that I've met a lot of the players 2 or 3 times with the connection between AIG. I've met a fair few of them. So that jersey is actually signed by the World Cup winning team 2015 or something like that. I was doing a gig in Dublin, and I met Ryan Crotty and got on really well with him, and kind of were just, the nature of these gigs, you're standing around all day and we're having a coffee or whatever, and I got on really well, and we swapped jerseys. I gave him a Dublin jersey, and he gave me my Dublin jersey, probably in the bin somewhere, but that's fine. So he gave me the jersey, and I followed him on Instagram after, and surprise, he followed me back, and I was like, this is unbelievable.
Did you slip into his DMs then?
Slept into his DMs. Dead right, I did. Dead right. And I just sent him a message saying it was great to meet him. I really enjoyed chatting to him, and if I sent over a jersey, would he get the lads to sign it and send it back? And he did. To be fair to him, he sent it back, and it's hanging up on the wall now. But like, why why I have it hanging on the wall is my passion and what really gives me my kicks is like the psychology element and the culture elements of the team. I just like I love every factor of and trying to build a culture, and the All Blacks are kings of it, and they're what underpins a lot of what they do. Like the tip of the iceberg is they try to leave the jersey in a better place than they found it. So it's something that I take really to heart, and as someone that's been around Dublin a long time, it's something that I'm trying to help, one of many people trying to help in Dublin at the moment, start a legacy and a culture that when new players join, they're slipping into a system and a style of work ethic that's already there, rather than bringing lads up to scratch.
And the final thing, did you notice that there was a Dublin jersey in the crowd among the Argentina supporters?
Yeah. But it's a spitting image of an Argentina jersey. Yeah,
it is. Yeah,
there's always one. There's always one.
There is indeed. Look, Owen, great chatting to you, and hopefully we'll be chatting again in the future.
Really enjoyed that, guys. Thanks for having me.
All the best. All the best.